Hello guys, this is my 11th lecture in succession. In the preceding video or the preceding lecture, that is in lecture 10, we discussed about the transitive relation. Today we shall be discussing about, in this video we are going to talk about the equivalence relation. We have observed a lot of examples from which we concluded that any given relation that may be reflexive but neither of the two, that means that relation may not be symmetric as well as transitive. That may be symmetric but neither of the two means reflexive and transitive, and the relation may be transitive but neither of the two means what? That cannot be reflexive as well as symmetric, right? It also may happen that the given relation is reflexive and symmetric but not transitive. It is symmetric and transitive but not reflexive. It is reflexive and transitive but not symmetric, right? And it is also possible that the given relation is neither reflexive nor symmetric nor transitive, right? Here we are concerned about that what happens or what would be called that particular relation when all these three conditions holds true. That means if a relation is reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive, then what is this called for? So this particular relation is known as an equivalence relation, whatever we are going to talk about in this particular video. So equivalence relation is termed as a relation over the given set if it is reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive. A very simple, what is that definition of that? Okay, no different or no something else to be studied about equivalence relation. This is very simple. I've just written the definition over here to make you understand or for noting you down. A relation R over the set A is called an equivalence relation if it is what? If and only if it is reflexive, it is symmetric as well as transitive. The conditions for reflexivity, symmetricity and transitivity, whatever you already know, has also been mentioned over there. Two examples, what is that, of relations I have just given over the given set A containing three elements 1, 2, 3. So just go on watching very carefully. You will be finding whether these two relations are equivalence relations or not. What is to be observed? We have to watch whether the given relation is reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive or not. If any one of these three relations does not hold true, then we say that that cannot be an equivalence relation. So if A is equal to 1, 2, 3, we have got R is equal to what? 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1. Now just go on watching. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, is there, where 1, 2, 3 is an element of A. That means for every x belonging to A, x is lying in that particular relation. So it is reflexive. Now for symmetricity, now just go on watching the pairs and see whether their symmetry is present in that particular relation is not there. No need of arguing about 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 because the symmetry of 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 would be themselves. Okay, so we are concerned about 1, 2 as well as 2, 1. So what would be the symmetry of 1, 2? That is 2, 1, which is lying over there. And what is the symmetry of 2, 1? That is 1, 1, which is also present in the given relation R. So this is symmetric also. Now so far as the transitivity is concerned, 1, 2 is there, 2, 1 is there. Means x is related to y and y is related to z. What would be xz? That is 1, 1. That is lying over there. Again, you just start from here. 2, 1 is there. Means for y we have taken 1, and for z it starts with what? 1 over here. So 1, 2 is also there. Means yz. It is x, 1 is y, again 1 is y, 2 is what? Z. So xz constitute what? 2, 2. Is 2, 2 present in the given relation? Yes, that is present in the given relation. So we may say that this relation is reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive, and hence it is an equivalence relation. Now let us talk about the third one. Second one, I mean to say. 1, 1 is there, 2, 2 is there. 3, 3 is not present in the given relation. So no need of watching other elements. Once you have observed that the given relation is not reflexive, means what? Out of these three, if one of the relation is not holding in for that given relation, then the given relation won't be, what is that? An equivalence relation. So this is 1, 1, 2, 2 is there, but 3, 3 is absent, means given relation S is not reflexive, and on the basis of that we can very well say that this is not an equivalence relation. We are not bothered about watching whether the given relation S is symmetric or not, transitive or not. Once it is not reflexive, naturally you have to write or you have to say that it cannot be an equivalence relation, because for the relation to be equivalence one, it is a must to be reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive. Got it? Now I just give you some more examples to make it clear. So I just make a table or a chart with various relations to observe that which one is reflexive, which one is symmetric, which one is transitive, and which one may be termed as equivalence relation. Just watch. Now just see the examples whatever I have given over there. A lot of relations have been defined over the given set. First of all, we have taken the set of reals R. In the second example, we have taken the set of lines L. In the third example, we have taken the set power set of X. And we have defined a lot of relations. In the first one, you just go on watching. 5 relations we have discussed over there. The relation of equality, the relation of less than, relation of greater than, relation of less than or equal to, as well as the relation of greater than or equal to. In the second example, we have taken 2 relations, the relation of parallelism as well as the relation of perpendicularity. And in the third case, we have taken the relation of subset as well as the relation of proper subset. Now one by one, go on watching that which of these relations, whatever is written over here, are reflexive, which one of them are symmetric, which one of them are transitive, and which of them can be taken as an equivalence relation or not. So one by one we are going to discuss about that one. In fact, we have already discussed about all of these relations separately while dealing with reflexive relation, symmetric relation as well as transitive relation. But here in a nutshell we are going to discuss about all of them. Okay, so let us start from the very first one. Just watch. The first relation is A is equal to B. You know that every real number is equal to itself. Undoubtedly, it would be a reflexive relation. So I just put tick mark for that. That means this is reflexive. What about symmetricity? If A is equal to B, then B must be equal to A. If you say that I may be writing this one, that A is equal to A. This is true. Okay, A is equal to B implies what? B is equal to A. This is also true. So this is symmetry. Transitivity, if A is equal to B and B is equal to C. What does this imply? A is equal to C. So this one is transitive too. So the relation of equality is reflexive as well as symmetric as well as transitive. And hence this one is an equivalence relation. Now we just take the other one, the relation of less than, greater than, etc. We know very well that the relation of less than is reflexive or not. Can we say that A is less than A? No, it cannot be said, because no element can be less than itself. Okay, so here we don't have A is not less than A. So this is not reflexive. A less than B, but B is not less than A. So this is also not symmetric. What about transitivity? Yes, A less than B and B less than C. This undoubtedly implies that A is less than C. So this is transitive. So the relation of less than as well as greater than, they are neither reflexive nor symmetric, but both of them are transitive. So this is not reflexive. This is also not symmetric, but this is transitive. And since it is neither reflexive nor symmetric, so this is not an equivalence relation. What about the greater than? The same explanation, neither reflexive nor symmetric, but transitive, and hence no equivalence relation. Now the relation of less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. You know very well that less than or equal to as well as greater than or equal to, both of them are what? Reflexive. And both of them are transitive too, but both of them are not symmetric. So this is not an equivalence relation, right? The logic we have already given, argument we have done, that if A is less than or equal to B, B cannot be taken as less than or equal to B. In fact, B would be greater than or equal to B. So this is why we say that the relations less than or equal to as well as greater than or equal to, they are not symmetric. So I think you are getting all these things. Now the relation of parallelism as well as perpendicularity. Every line is parallel to itself, so this is reflexive. If L is parallel to M, M must be parallel to L, so this is symmetry. If L is parallel to M and M is parallel to N, then L would be parallel to N due to simple geometry, and this is transitive too. Since it is this relation of parallelism over the set of lines in xy plane is reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive, therefore it can be termed as an equivalence relation. Now what about the relation of perpendicularity? It is symmetry or not? Yes, it is symmetry, because A is perpendicular to B, I mean to say L is perpendicular to M, then M must be perpendicular to M. So this is symmetry. But so far as reflexivity as well as transitivity are concerned, that is not being obeyed by this particular relation, because no line can be perpendicular to itself, so this is not reflexive. And if L is perpendicular to M and M is perpendicular to N, what did I said to you earlier, that if L is perpendicular to M and M is perpendicular to N, then L and N are parallel to each other, they cannot be perpendicular to each other, so this is not transitive too, and hence it is not an equivalence relation. Now we proceed towards the last example, the relation of subset as well as the proper set. Right. If A is a subset of B, this relation is given here in the second one. A is a proper subset of B, where A and B are the elements of what? The power set of X. You know very well about power set. Anyways, so can we say that every set is a subset of itself? Yes. Since this relation holds true that any set is a subset of itself, therefore on the basis of that we can say that every element of power set of X can be associated with itself with this particular relation subset, right? But the same set, if you talk about the proper subset, so A cannot be a proper subset of A, because both of them are equal and getting equal number of elements, so we cannot say they are proper set. So the proper set relation is not a reflexive relation. What about symmetricity? None of them. We know that if A is a subset of B, so B may or may not be a subset of A. So for example, if I say that A contains two elements 1, 2 and B contains three elements 1, 2, 3. Naturally, whatever the elements are there in A, those are lying in B. Therefore, on the basis of that and by the definition of subset, we can say that A is a subset of B. But in return, we can't say that B is a subset of A, because the 3 as an element lying in B which is not in A. So in that case, we say that A is a proper subset of A. So whether we talk about subset or proper subset, if A is a subset of B or A is a proper subset of B, naturally B will be a superset of A. B cannot be a subset as well as the proper subset of A. So this relation doesn't hold true. Means what? The symmetricity is not there, and symmetricity is challenged over here, means contradicted and hence not symmetry. So far as transitivity is concerned, undoubtedly if A is a subset of B and B is a subset of C, then this holds true every time that A is a subset of C. So if every element of A is in B and every element of B is in C, then naturally whatever the elements A is obtaining, all those elements must be lying in C, and on the basis of that we say that A is a subset of C. The same conclusion or the same logic can be given for the proper subset. So whether it is the relation of subset or proper subset, both of them are transitive. And since neither reflexivity nor symmetricity in two cases, in the last one proper subset and the for subset symmetricity is not obeyed, therefore we say that both of these relations are not equivalence relations. So a lot of examples we have given. We have just tried my best to make you understand clearly about this one. In case you do have some problem related to the topic, better come to the comment box and do have some inquiry related to the topic. I am always there to assist you, to help you anytime. So thank you for watching this video, and just wait for the next video, because in the next video or in the next lecture which we shall be discussing about the congruence modulo N relation as well as the equivalence class and partition of a given set. Until then, just take care of yourself, stay safe. Thank you very much.